This is what they said. This is what they said. Um, Luke chapter 22, down at the bottom, very end of it, at verse 70, talks about Jesus being questioned at the priest house. Few verses before, we find out Jesus is in the garden praying, asking for strength, asking that this cup be passed from him. And the very next thing he faces is walking on his disciples, finding them asleep. I think we live in a relevant text world today where it is that we can see people struggling and still be asleep on them. We can see our fellow brother, our fellow sister getting gunned down in the street, beat up in the gas station, demoralized, dehumanized, rights denied, provoked, justice unserved, and yet we sleep on them. Like, what are you talking about when there is a march here, there is a post there, there is groups that advocate for this kind of thing? Is that we have been looking at this long before Rodney King, long before the assassination of Martin Luther, long before King Jr., long before slavery even came to the forefront of what we believe to be the emancipation of a black man. It is not. You are not free. You have not been free for some years. Is that this dates all the way back to Egypt slavery. Is that we will work and try and please a man before it is that we stand up and rise up for ourselves. Jesus says, could you have not stayed up with me 1 hour? So you must pray that God delivers us from temptation. That it is that we live in troubling times and the temptation is falling asleep. That we're so accustomed to a world of violence that it does not even affect us. That just this morning, a 3-year-old is being kidnapped. Just yesterday, we're gunning down a neighbor in our house. In our own house, lights on, front door open. You ain't even safe at home anymore. How is it that we go to the gas station and end up becoming a victim, being falsely accused, being beaten when there is a host of witnesses and nobody does anything? That we all want to post about it, rise up about it, come to the place where it is where we talk about doing something and nobody does anything. I am in support of any group of the Black Panther movement, of the Black Man movement, who went in the store and closed it down, demanded this be shut down to the community, because it is that until we stop giving these folk our money, will they value our purchase. Until then, we are just as sheep walking into the land waiting to be slaughtered. And you have to understand that Jesus finds them asleep, and as soon as he walks up, they wake up. How is it nobody gets the attention until you walk on the scene? It should not take God coming, shedding light on the fact you people are asleep for you to wake up. Why is it that this year has been over 700 black assassinations by police officers? Nobody sheds light. Why is it this year over 1,900 black children killed this year? Nobody sheds light on it. This year, there's been over 2,000 falsely accused, and still held in prison, in jail, in holding. To this day, black people. Now, I am a believer that all lives matter, all of them. because we are but one person. We are but one body, one spirit. But if I don't value my arm, how then can I expect it to scratch my head? If I don't value my eye, how then can I expect to see? That we all play an important part in this development we call human existences, coexisting. So we are all here in this thing together. And I cannot put myself over or under what it is one part is worth more than the other until we can come together and wake up and see we are in a fight. We'll never win. We'll always be on the side of offense, of defense. Looking at your brother and your sister as the competition will never help you win. So it is that Jesus finds himself greeted by his brother who's kissing him on the cheek to point him out and turn him in. When is it that half of the police killings this year on us, on people that look like me and you, have been an active African American officer on scene? How is it that you can be done wrong and your brother be there to witness it? Your sister be there who can stop the fight, stop the crime. But it is they have sold you out for a few pieces of silver. And we want to look at Judas in this particular chapter and be like, how could you have done that? But we do that to each other every single day. But yet we don't even get silver for it. We call it clout. We get popularity. So when they lead him away and they beat him all night, they chastise him all night, they insult him all night, and you come down here to the end of chapter 22, and Jesus says, after he's been questioned, the Bible says, to the break of day, so all night long, he says, you said that I was. And that's it. I ain't got nothing else to say. I reserve my rights. I know the amendments. I know the Constitution. I know what you say you go by. You said that I was. And they look at each other and say, do we need further witnesses? We have enough to convict them. Is that not the world that we live in yet again today? Is that the officer's word becomes law? Is that people in the church are silent? People in their homes are silent. People of the media are silent. The president is stupid. We have a place and time in which whatever they say becomes the law enough to kill you. And it's not until we begin to stop being like Peter and denying, I know that man. If I cannot stand up for my brother, cannot stand up for my sister, cannot stand up for any of these people being unjustly done, regardless of race, religion, creed, or color, we begin to become as bad as deniers as the people that disown Jesus Christ.